Welcome to the Let's Stay Healthy radio show, sponsored and brought to you by Montana Harvest Natural Food Store in Billings, Montana. If you don't spend time on your wellness, you're going to be forced to spend time on your illness. Your health is your most valuable asset. Invest in it by tuning in now.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Let's Stay Healthy. This is Kimmy Oliver with Montana Harvest, and I have a very special guest lined up with me today, Greg Ciola with Seven Lights Nutrition. Super excited to have you on, Greg. Good morning.
Good morning, Kimmy. Thank you for having me back on.
Yeah, thanks for coming. I just have a quick announcement about our Let's Stay Healthy seminar on July 15th. We have Elaine Huang Fagan coming in, talking about everyday mindfulness for greater energy, health, and well-being. And as always, for those that attend our seminars, get 10% off their entire purchase. So you can RSVP in-store or call 406-252-6969. And yeah, with that, we're going to be talking about sulfur, one of my favorite minerals. So I don't know if you want to give just a little background. How did you get started with Seven Lights, Greg?
Actually, I started the company back in the year 2000, if you can believe that. So it's been 26 years ago. I started with a newspaper, and I actually started the company. I was working with my dad. We had a bodybuilding sports nutritional company. And then we got into some Bible bar products and tried to do some stuff with that. And then I wanted to do a lot more stuff that was on natural health and alternative health. And it was kind of around the same time the whole GMO movement was going on, towards the end of the 90s when everything started getting genetically modified. And I started talking to everybody. Nobody knew nothing. I'm like, man, I can't believe this. So long story short, and I don't even have a copy of it in front of me, I started with a book called GMOs, Beware the Coming Food Apocalypse. But you can only sell a book one time. And then from that, I decided I need to do an actual newsletter. So I started a newsletter that it built into an actual newspaper that I was mailing out all over the country. And I started having a bunch of products. I carried other companies' products, and that led me to do the whole Seven Lights brand of products as well at that time. So I did the newspaper up until, I guess, towards the end of 2018. And then everything got so expensive, and everything's gone more online and everything. So I don't have the newspaper anymore. But that's how I started the company.
Awesome. Oh, we're just having a little technical difficulty. Sorry about that. There we go. We're back. Gotta love technology, huh?
Yeah.
Well, you guys have the MSM crystals. That's what we carry from Seven Lights Nutrition. It's probably one of our top selling supplements in store, because there's all kinds of benefits to utilizing organic sulfur. But it's become a necessary supplement that we should be supplementing with because of modern day agriculture processes. In 1954, they depleted the sulfur cycle from our foods. And so none of us are getting enough of this essential mineral to human health. But I know you wanted to talk about the benefits of organic sulfur and utilizing it for your pets and animals.
Yeah, I know this is kind of a new interview, but I actually have a golden retriever. He's actually sitting behind me sleeping on the floor right now. But he got injured I don't know, maybe about 8 weeks ago, and I don't really know what in the world happened to him. He started actually limping. And I have a 2-story house, so I don't know if he went up the stairs when we were gone and fell down the stairs. I don't know if he stepped in a hole wrong. He started limping bad. It was like it's his back left leg. And then from the limp, it actually got to the point where he lifted his whole leg off the ground and couldn't walk on it. He was walking with 3 legs. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know what in the world happened to him. Maybe he broke his leg. Long story short, and I haven't experienced this in a long time, I had to take him to the vet and get him x-rayed. And it cost me almost $1,000 just to get the x-rays and to have him looked at from the vet, which is crazy. And they said, well, we don't really see a broken bone. They're trying to tell me maybe it's a ligament, and they wanted to operate on him. And they said, you don't have to have the operation, but we think based on your dog, that would make the most sense. They couldn't really prove that it was any ligaments. And so I took him home, and I said, you know what, as much as I've been carrying these products and selling these products, I haven't been giving it to my pets. I never really paid attention to saying I need to give this to my dog. So I decided I'm going to give him the sulfur defense, and I'm giving them some of the other minerals that we carry, and some glucosamine from another company, just to give him some of these products. And long story short, he went from not being able to walk to, after about 2 days of being on those products, he was actually able to walk normal again. I had to put him on medication that they gave me from the vet so that he would just kind of be passed out or really wouldn't move, and he could barely walk to get outside. He almost looked like he was dead. It was so bad. And then from that standpoint, he actually got better and better to the point now, I mean, it was only a few days of being on that product, and I give it to him every day now. And he's perfectly fine. You'd never know the dog got injured. He acts totally fine. He's up and down the stairs. He walks outside fine. Nothing. And if I got the surgery they wanted me to do, they said it was going to cost between $5,000 to $8,000 more dollars just to get a surgery, and they couldn't even prove conclusively that it was a torn ligament. So that's what made me want to say something to you, because I know we've done so well with the sulfur. We've talked about it for all kinds of things. Obviously, I went through a cancer battle I was telling you about. I take these minerals every day. Minerals, in my opinion, are the most important nutrients that every single person needs. There's a whole group of them, but minerals are definitely at the top of the list. And so for pets, that's the whole other category that I never really paid attention to. And there are so many animals that need it. And here's another thing. As I said, it's been about, 5 to 6 weeks since my dog's been on this stuff now. And one of the other big things that has happened is he's had a lot of issues with his skin. So he'd have the flakes, and his skin would never feel really super clean. And since I've had him on that sulfur now, and I give him a high dose of it, I'm giving the capsules now. I'm giving him the powder. He doesn't mind the taste. He'll eat the capsules, no problem. But it's easier to just squirt some powder or some, put some powder on his food and let him mix it up and eat it that way. And it's actually made his hair way better as well. His hair feels smoother. He doesn't have any of that dry skin anymore that he had on his back, where he had a lot of the flakes and everything else. All that's gone. And I can tell just petting him and stuff that his skin feels better on it. So, yes, I would highly recommend this. I know that there are some people that know about it. And here I am. I've been selling this stuff for all these years. And I've known about it because I knew that originally they started with MSM, actually, with horses. That was a big thing. You can go back to the 1980s where it started, where they were giving it to racehorses and things. So there's a lot of information out. We can cover some of that in this video if you want. I'm not an expert on the horse health with it, but that's where it kind of started, and it got really popular with a lot of other animals as well. You can find it out there in some places, but a lot of people don't know about it. And again, like what you're selling as a health food store, anytime there's a problem, you go to a vet. They want to give them drugs, which cost a fortune. It was over $200 just for the drugs to put them on. And the drugs don't fix anything. It's like a temporary solution. Oh, it's a pain medicine, or it's this, or let's knock them out. But it's nothing really that fixes or addresses the actual real problem. And that's why I feel like this is a good interview, to hopefully wake some people up to, people sometimes care more about their pets than they do about themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll spend more money on them. They can justify $200 on supplements for their pets, but not themselves a lot of the times. But yeah, it makes sense to me why it helped your dogs, because no ligaments, tendons, or reconnective tissues can reheal or reconnect without sulfur bonds. And sulfur is required for the synthesis of collagen. So that also makes sense about the skin health, the hair. And I was telling you earlier that I use it in my garden every year. Your sulfur crystals I dilute in water, and
Really?
I water my plants with it.
What kind of plants are you growing, and what kind of results are you getting, or
Oh
what
man,
do you
it's
notice
been
dramatically?
phenomenal. Well, it just helps produce, and the plants just thrive. I'm growing cabbage and strawberries and zucchini and a couple of tomatoes and cucumbers and broccoli. I'm going to be growing some green beans. I haven't got those planted yet, but I've been told that I can still plant them in July. So hopefully that's true. But my garden is just like flourishing. I mean, it's just huge. Everything is just more than 10 times the size than what it was. But we've also gotten a lot of moisture. But I do always put minerals and sulfur in the water at least a few times when I initially plant them. And my garden has always done amazing with that. But if
Wow.
you think about it, the soils have been depleted. And so we know that sulfur is one of the most abundant minerals that we should be getting. But if it's not in the soil, it's not in the food. I mean, it's what helps oxygenate the body. It's what helps take care of free radical damage. It's like what you say, the locomotive on a freight train.
Yeah.
I'll let you say that because that's always your saying.
Well, that's the design I came up with many years ago because I thought about it. They said it makes everything else work better. It helps to open the cells, and like a freight train pulling the boxcars down the tracks, it helps to link with other minerals and other nutritional supplements and makes everything else get into the cells and work better. So yeah, that's why I came up with the whole freight train locomotive with the product. That's really what it happens in the body. It makes everything work better in the cells. And it detoxifies the cells. It helps to oxygenate the cells. And it helps to flourish everything in the body. It's good for your skin, your hair, your nails, your bones, your joints, everything. And then if you take that in conjunction with other things that you carry at your store, that's a gold mine, really. It's one of the best options I would highly recommend for everybody, whether it's a human or a dog or a cat or a horse.
Well, and we've been carrying it since I want to say 2011, 2012. And I remember when we first got it in, we got it in bulk. And we were pre-packaging this white crystals in bags with labels on it. And I remember trying it. And the first time I ever tried it, I started detoxing right away. And I thought, gosh, am I like allergic to this stuff? And Joe Gary's like, you need to read the paperwork on this. Nobody can be allergic to this stuff. They're allergic to the synthetic sulfa drugs or sulfa-based drugs because this is the third most abundant element to the human body. I mean, it's in every living cell. Nobody can be allergic to it, but you will have a detox reaction if you have enough toxins in your body. Well, I broke out into a rash on my arms. And before I started working at Montana Harvest, I was working at Bath and Body Works because one of my friends in college was like, hey, we really need help. We need seasonal help. Come help us. Well, that's just endocrine disrupting chemicals, PFAs, sampling on your arms all the time, right? And sure enough, that's where those toxins were coming out, was on my arms. And I think it was legitimately pushing out the chemicals and toxins that I had previously been putting on my body from those scented lotions and stuff. And that lasted about 2 weeks and then it went away. But we had a gentleman that had been on antidepressants for over 20 years. And to this day, this is the most profound testimonial on your product, the MSM crystals, is within 3 days, he came in and he's like, I don't even feel like I need my antidepressants anymore.
Huh.
Yeah. So, I mean, it has helped people from depression. It has helped people detox. It has helped people with uric acid issues. I know you have a profound testimonial on that. I've given it to my animals. I've also given the sulfur eye drops to my animals. One time I had a rescue dog who the whites of her eyes had like this bubble. And I don't know if they were playing too rough and something hit it, but legitimately took the sulfur eye drops, put it in her eye, and the next day it was gone.
These were eye drops that you bought as eye drops pre-made, or
The
did you just
sulfur eye
make it?
drops, yeah. Yeah,
You
they
just
were
made
made
it.
in-house. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just sulfur and purified water.
that's amazing. Yeah, for pets, that's really good option though. I did that for my dog recently as well for ear things. Golden retrievers have a lot of those problems where they get the crap in their ear, and then you go take them to the vet, and here's some medicine, and here's some drops that are going to cost a fortune. And anyway, I've been using colloidal silver, and I actually took some of the silver recently, and I mixed some of the MSM into it and put it into his ears. His ears are actually getting mostly better, way better than they've been.
Yeah.
And I haven't been faithful enough. I just started really doing that recently, like in the last few weeks. But I know that stuff helps.
Well, yeah, and like what you talked about with the race horses, I mean, they did that to help the horses recover quicker. It helped their ligaments and tendons. and it helped their stamina. And that's one of the things that a lot of athletes should be aware of, the benefits of organic sulfur, because it also will help prevent the lactic acid buildup. And it
Yeah.
and it's going to help repair your muscles and recovery. I have a sister who constantly goes to the gym, and she's very fit and active, and she could tell a huge difference when she got on the sulfur. She's like, I feel like I if I hit leg day really hard, and then I'd be sore for several days after that. But with the sulfur, I'm fine the next day.
I've been taking it. That's Michael's not on the show today, but I know we did some shows. We were joking around last time about all the exercising and working out. But all kidding aside, it is a product that every single person that works out in the gym, plays any sport, or is involved in any athletics in any way should be taking this product on a daily basis. I've got a son who's 14 years old. He's a diehard with basketball. I got him on an AAU program. He plays for his school. He was in the middle school. Now he's going into high school. And these guys are killing it out there. I mean, they just did a whole month in June with the school for a summer program. I'm talking 5 hours a day. Drop them off at 7 in the morning and go pick them up afternoon. And they were working out, running up and down stairs in 95-degree heat. They were doing exercise in the gym, training. And, you know, a lot of these kids that are doing the sport with them, who's out because they hurt their ankle, who's out because this happened or that happened. He's not getting injuries like that. And plus, he's getting massive recovery fast on that. At the intensity that he's been at to be on it. But we give him that. We give him a protein supplement. We give him the sulfur defense. I give him some other mineral supplements. I got him on a whole regimen, and he's taking that stuff every single day. It's made a dramatic difference. He stands out, I think, with all of his players because he's getting the support that he needs with the nutrition, which makes a big difference. A lot of these young kids, their parents have them with intense sports. Some of them get into it. Some of them do give them supplements, but a lot of them don't. And I know that it can make a big difference. That's why I'd say any sport, they should be on this product.
Well, yeah, because athletes, there's a lot of wear and tear and injuries, like you mentioned, especially with tendons and ligaments. And later on in life, that can affect them and lead to arthritic pain. And sulfur is one of our best-selling supplements for arthritic pain, believe it or not.
Oh, I believe it. I mean, I got some info here that I was pulling up just on stuff for the horses. It says that one of the race horses place tremendous stress on their joints every day. MSM provides sulfur, an essential nutrient used to form collagen, cartilage, tendons, ligaments, connective tissue. That's just point one. Two was exercise and recovery. One of the newest studies in 2025 examined MSM supplementation in exercising horses and found it helped reduce markers of inflammation and oxidative stress following exercise. It's the same thing that happens for humans. But it's wild that they've got all these horses on it. Reduces muscle soreness, which we're just talking about, and that's a big thing. And I'm in the same boat. I mean, I love to go to the gym. I work out about 5 to 6 days a week, and I get intense. I mean, I push it hard. And I'm 56 years old, but I don't care. Staying in shape is really, really important. Having good joints and all the muscles that you need to keep your body strong, all the nutrition you need to live a long life. I try to take all of that stuff. So here's the other thing, joint comfort and mobility. MSM is widely used for horses that have stiff joints, arthritis, aging joints, or heavy training schedules. And they got a lot. I don't know how much you want me to cover here off the show, but there's quite a bit there about all the benefits. And this is not just for horses. So you could take all of that and carry it on, like I said, to dogs or cats or humans. And then, you know, the average person that has pets might think, well, you know, how much do I give him? Or how do I know that he can handle it? It's actually made my dog better because he's a golden retriever that I inherited from somebody when he was a year and a half old, and he had a lot of stomach problems. He's very strict on food that I can give him. And if I don't give him the perfect diet, he'd get a lot of diarrhea, loose stools, and all that. Since I've had him on high doses of the sulfur, he's been going to the bathroom the best he's ever gone. Although I did help him with a lot of other things to get him on the right track, but I've noticed even improvement even more since he's been on that stuff. And like I said, his skin is way better. And I don't even know because they can't talk. I don't know if it's helped him with sleep and a bunch of other things. It probably has. He seems to be more energetic than he was.
Yeah, that's awesome. How much are you giving him?
So I give him probably double the dose that I'm giving humans because of the pain and the issues that he had going on. Um, but I think he seems fine on it. So
Yeah.
like the scoop that's in there, 3 grams twice a day, I probably give him about 3 to 6 grams, maybe once or twice a day. Just depends.
Yeah.
I don't need to overdo it, but I've given him a decent amount right now because I think it's really helped clear him up with everything.
Well, I've given it to my dogs, but we have our dogs on a raw food based diet now. So I know they're getting more, and then they get a lot of fresh raw eggs because we have chickens, and there's a lot of sulfur in eggs as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, sulfur is tremendous for animals, plants, humans. I mean, all of us.
So some people thinking about the show, they'd wonder, what do I give it? Or my dog's fussy. My dog's not necessarily fussy, and he'll eat the capsules. If I took 3 capsules and just threw it in his dog food and swished it around, even if it was just dry food, he still eats it. If I take the powder and put it in there, he eats that as well. So the powder hasn't stopped him either. And the powder's got somewhat of a bitter taste to some people, but it's not horrible. But as a dog, I mean, if you're feeding your dog canned food, I don't think they would even notice that they were eating it. You could try it both ways, whatever they would think would work best for their animal. But
Well, you could even try dissolving it in their water and seeing if they'll drink the water.
yeah, you can.
Yeah, because I mean, if you think about it, veterinarians they charge a lot, like what you said. You spend $1,000 on x-rays, and a lot of this, if we just know natural remedies that can help heal the body. And I mean, think about the allergies that dogs have nowadays as well. I mean,
Terrible.
people get their dogs on medications to deal with allergies, and humans, well, we're all exposed to the same chemicals, toxins, and we know that cancers thrive in an anaerobic environment, and sulfur helps provide oxygen to the cells because it allows our cells to be more permeable. So it legitimately carries nutrients inside the cell and transports oxygen across the cell membrane. And so that's going to help carry your nutrients in, detox toxins and allergens that have accumulated. But the other thing about sulfur is it helps and is required to produce glutathione. And we know how important glutathione is. I mean, people are getting injections, IVs of glutathione, but how wonderful could it be that your body produces it naturally by taking sulfur? A lot of people during the pandemic and everything were coming in for NAC because they knew that that was a precursor to your body producing glutathione. But I'm like, you need sulfur. Like, sulfur is even better in my opinion. I mean, NAC is great, but sulfur's, I mean, even better in my opinion, because it's a mineral, and we know the importance of remineralizing the body. Linus Pauling, he's a 2-time Nobel Prize winner, discovered that every known ailment, illness, and disease can be linked or associated with a mineral deficiency. And that's why it's one of our 5 foundational supplements. We have a sheet at the registers, the 5 foundational, sulfur's one of them.
Yeah, your 5 foundation is phenomenal. I'm sure you must have helped a ton of people. And you have a health food store, so I don't have a lot of people that come in and out. I don't actually have a physical store. So I don't know, what kind of feedback you get from a lot of your customers, but talking to Michael and you and some of the other people there, it sounds like you have a lot of people that come in and buy this over and over again and talk about the benefits of it. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. And there's a lot of knockoffs out there too. I mean, MSM capsules that have anti-caking agents and different fillers and stuff. And some people are like, well, that was $19 versus 29. So I decided I was on a budget that month and I'm going to try the $19 one. And this woman had been taking your product for like 8 years and was taking the other brand that was not the food grade crystals, and she was not having the same benefits or results. And she's like, I had to come back in and get your guys's organic sulfur because I found this other one that I thought, well, I'm saving $10, but all my little aches and pains started coming back. The arthritis in my knee started coming back because it wasn't the pure food grade crystals. Even in your capsules, it's just the crystals. There's no anti-caking agents. And even your crystals, if you get it, it's like, when salt gets moisture almost, the sulfur will have a big clump in there and you have to break it up. But that's what you want. You want the pure crystals without any fillers or binders or anything.
Yeah, that's definitely true. That's the best way to take it. And yeah, there's a lot that's on the market that has fillers and binders and excipients with it. It's not that it doesn't work entirely. It still might give you some results, but not the best results that you want from the product. And so, yes, we have nothing in ours. There's no fillers, binders, or anything in there that's mixed with, including the capsule. So, I mean, if you wanted to buy capsules and take it with powder, you could just pop the capsule open and dump it into water or food if you wanted to take it that way. But it's cheaper getting it by the powder in the canister. And when you talked about allergies, that was one of the big things I had when I started taking the sulfur back in 2010 when I got behind the product. I would literally wake up every day and I'd blow my nose all day long. Sneeze, blow my nose. And I was taking everything I knew to take, a lot of good nutritional supplements, but nothing seemed to get rid of it. And when I started taking sulfur, this doesn't happen to everybody, so I would hate to say it and make people think this is something that's common, but I had that issue where I got kind of a rash on my arms, and I was taking high amounts when I started, which I shouldn't have done. I should have taken lower doses and started slower, but sometimes I don't follow advice I should follow. But I stopped taking it for like a week, and then I started taking smaller doses, and I was able to build up where I can start taking higher amounts, and I've been on it ever since. So you're talking, 16 years now that I've been on the sulfur, and my allergies are way better than I ever went through before. It's not something I have to focus on all the time. I'm in Florida, it's hot, sometimes you're in and out of a lot of humidity, sometimes you can have issues, but for the most part, I'd say 90 to 95% of the allergy problems I have had in the past went away from being on the sulfur.
Yeah, we had one woman who was on an inhaler. And yeah, because she had asthma and started taking the sulfur, and she's like, I just started to forget to use my inhaler because I didn't feel like I needed it. And then eventually didn't need the inhaler anymore. Because sulfur helps produce glutathione, and we know that glutathione can help repair the lungs and even help individuals with COPD, asthma, and it helps rebuild healthy new cells in the lung walls. So sulfur is incredibly important. I mean, if you know how important glutathione is, then that should show how important sulfur is, because sulfur is needed for the production of glutathione by the body.
Yeah, they call glutathione the master antioxidant.
Yeah.
Like everything that runs the immune system needs glutathione, and if the glutathione levels are low, so is your immune system's strength. So yeah, basically what you're saying is once you build up glutathione properly, that's like the trigger that runs the entire immune system in the body, makes everything else work better. And that's one of the big benefits. People have felt a whole lot better across the board on all fronts being on this product.
Well, yeah, and I mean that's the thing is when you have adequate levels of glutathione, everything else in the body is going to be more efficient. And sulfur is required for that production. And so, I mean, in a perfect world, we would get enough sulfur from our diet. I mean, but we don't live in a perfect world. I mean, we just had a show yesterday on them wanting to put an AI data center here close to Billings and how it would affect our water, our air, our noise pollution. I mean, everything. And so we are constantly bombarded. There's over 80,000 chemicals that we are bombarded with every day that we don't even know the safety of human health with these chemicals and toxins and forever chemicals and pesticides. But we do know that sulfur helps detox certain heavy metals out of the body, like lead, cadmium, and arsenic. We also know that sulfur helps detox pesticides and chemicals. The only contraindication that I have read or witnessed of individuals taking sulfur is if you are on a blood thinner. Otherwise, I don't know of any contraindications. And I look at it as a food grade supplement. I look at it as a food because this is a mineral that we should be getting from our food.
What do you see with the blood thinner if somebody who's on blood thinner medicine or whatever, that it actually thins their blood even more, or what's
Yeah.
the side effect that
Yeah,
is?
that the sulfur can act like a blood thinner. And so for individuals that haven't been prescribed a blood thinner, but are on leaning towards needing one, I would encourage them to try sulfur first and see if that helps so that you don't have to get on a prescription for life.
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, we've seen so many benefits of your product, the Sulfur Defense. I mean, from tons of different, I mean, even from just boosting people's immune system and helping alleviate cold and flu-like symptoms, or just yeah, even just help alleviate getting the common cold. Like I said, Michael and I have been on it for since we brought it in, and we worked all during COVID, right? And we were exposed to people. I never got sick. I never got it. He never got it. And I know he takes it, and I take it every day. I took it during both pregnancies, had very healthy babies. They were both over 8 pounds, didn't need any
Wow.
medication, had natural births, took it. I didn't have a lot of swelling or edema that a lot of women struggle with, and I was able to work all the way through both pregnancies, past 40 weeks, work every day until then. So I mean, it helped, I think, recover too. I think with my second, I was very religious with taking the sulfur and collagen, and I think that made a huge difference in my recovery. So I remember talking to a friend who, after her first, she said she couldn't use the stairs in her house for 2 weeks. And
Wow.
I gave birth at home with my second child, and I went up the stairs that morning after delivery. So I swear it's the sulfur and collagen that definitely helped,
Wow.
repair all the ligaments and tendons because it's crucial for that.
Yeah. And a lot of the younger people don't think they need a lot of these things, or they just don't pay attention to it, and they say, "Well, it's just as you get older." But the younger you are, especially if you're going to the gym and working out, or you're involved in exercise, the better you are taking all these mineral supplements, so that you don't ever get to that point
Yeah.
in your 50s, 60s, 70s, or 80s where your whole body's broken down. Because I actually wrote a book about this many years ago, and that's called "The Battle for Health is Over pH," which, when you talk about all the chemicals and everything that's in our water and in our food and everything else, plus our diet, a lot of these things take the pH levels down in the body, where the body actually has to take the minerals from the joints and pull them into the blood, because the blood pH levels don't go up and down. It's like your body temperature. It's going to constantly fight to maintain 98.6. Your blood's going to constantly fight to maintain a pH of roughly 7.365, give or take. And so you can go drink your Coca-Cola or your Pepsi or whatever else you want. Now you just put a bunch of acid into your body. Your body doesn't get enough minerals, so what's it going to do? It's going to actually go to the joints, and it's going to go to your muscles, and it's going to go to every area of your body, and it's going to suck those minerals into your blood to balance out the blood. So over time, that leads to bone problems. As you get older, you see people's teeth that are falling apart and falling. Their joints and their bones are getting weak and broken down, and bones start breaking more easily. Oh, there's a lot of links to it. And sulfur isn't the only thing. You really need all the minerals. But again, this is the master mineral, like we talked about. That's the freight train that's driving down the tracks. You need to take all the minerals, sulfur being one of the primary ones you need to take every day. But all the minerals are so important to every aspect of the body. And so if you're exercising and working out and taking a lot of good mineral supplements, you're helping to protect your joints, your bones, your muscles, your immune system, your skin, your hair, your nails, all of it. And that's going to make a huge difference for anybody that takes that product.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up about the pH because, yeah, sulfur does help. It can help regulate your pH and more towards alkalinity, but obviously you need your other minerals in conjunction with that. But when you're drinking things that are very acidic, like Coca-Cola and Pepsi, like you were talking about, it's also going to rob the minerals from your teeth. which leads to cavities. Well,
Yeah.
you can, if you're brave enough, because sulfur is very bitter. But if you want to help restore your teeth, you can chew the crystals, and they encourage that for gum and teeth health, and chewing them and then drinking water.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, so you can chew the crystals. And obviously that would be good for your animals too. So if you were putting the sulfur on their food, that would also be beneficial for animal teeth as well. Because I mean, I don't know how expensive it is to go and have your dog's teeth cleaned, but I'm sure it's in the few hundreds.
Nothing's cheap anymore with pets.
Yeah,
It's sadly turned into an industry that's gotten like the human industry, where it's a fortune now. They're actually selling pet insurance and
yeah,
everything else, and any issue you have. Like my mom just had a cat that she had to put down. There was something that happened to her cat, and it was young, and it was only like 5 or 6 years old.
oh
And
wow,
it got really sick, and then they said they didn't even think the cat would survive. And if she wanted to try to maintain the cat, they have to do surgery that was going to cost like $10,000. She says, I can't afford to put $10,000 into the cat, especially if they don't even know if it's going to save them. So
yeah. Yeah, it's expensive. And so that's why we have to be preventative, take action when it comes to our health, so we don't become one of the statistics and develop one of these diseases. The other thing that sulfur helps, that I want to mention, is it helps with insulin production. And when you are diabetic or pre-diabetic, you have insulin resistance. And so then your body's not producing insulin, and that's why they have to give you insulin. Well, if it can help with insulin production, it can also help regulate blood sugar.
yeah, and that whole battle with the pH that we talked about is linked to that as well. And it's a lot of it goes down to minerals again with the whole diabetes movement. Now, like type 2 diabetes, in my opinion, from all the research I've done for over 25 years, that a vast majority of it is all diet related. People are living on sodas and Coke and Pepsi and all this junk and any other brand. It doesn't even matter. All these drinks. You go into 7-Eleven and go look at all the stuff that you can go buy. You're lucky if you can find 2 things in there that are worth drinking. Everything else in there is trash. And how many people are living on that stuff? Every gas station you go to, or any store you go to, it's one garbage product after the other. You look at the ingredients, I'm like, how do people live on this stuff? You go into a 7-Eleven, and then it's all the bars and all this. Everything's got the sugar and the artificial flavors and the artificial colors, this junk, that junk. And then they wonder why my blood sugar levels went up from 80 when I was 20 to, it's 130 now, and I got to take diabetes medicine. And instead of saying, gee, what caused my problem, they go to the doctor and they just take the medicine the doctor tells them to take, which doesn't solve the problem. It gives you temporary solution to the blood sugar levels going up, but it's not fixing the problem. Minerals are the root cause of all these diabetes issues. Sulfur being one of the best ones to take, but chromium actually is phenomenal with blood sugar. So is cinnamon and a lot of other things you can take. And I know you sell a lot of other products in your store as well. You got a whole good line of herbal products, and I'm a big herbal guy too. That's a biblical story there with the herbs. They're mentioned right there in the book of Genesis. God has given us every herb bearing seed. So all the herbs and all the minerals and the proper water intake and the exercise and the nutrition, it's all connected. And if you want, there's no guarantee in life, but if you want to live the best, longest, healthiest life you possibly can, you need to address all of that. And if you just want to accept diabetes, the only type 1 diabetes is not nutrition related. That's where people actually have the problem producing the insulin, and they have to have the injections and everything else. But type 2 diabetes is what makes up about 95 to 98% of diabetes, and it's all nutrition related.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And I believe it takes 57 molecules of magnesium to process 1 molecule of sugar. And magnesium is one of the other 5 foundational. But that's something too, that anytime the body's under any type of stress, you're utilizing your magnesium reserves. Therefore, you have to replenish what you're utilizing every day, but also a deficiency. And the thing about sulfur is our body doesn't actually store it. And that's why it's so important that you take it twice a day, because it only stays in our system for about 12 hours.
Yeah.
So it's something you want to take morning and night. But the other thing is sulfur helps eliminate free radicals. And we just had Sam Shepard on last week, and he's a big inflammation guy, talking about inflammatory diseases, and inflammation igniting chronic degenerative diseases like cancer, arthritis, diabetes. And it's the free radicals that cause the inflammation. Well, organic sulfur helps eliminate free radicals out of the body.
Amazing.
So in turn, it's going to help with inflammation.
I'm glad you did mention the magnesium, because that is definitely the next most important mineral that the body needs. And, most people will go to a lot of the health food stores and they have high amounts of calcium, low amounts of magnesium, where it really should be the other way around. The magnesium is so important. Anybody that has sleep-related problems, they say that magnesium, over 300 biochemical processes within the body require adequate magnesium levels. And the vast majority of the population is deficient in adequate magnesium. So now add that on to the shortage of getting the right sulfur, all the chemicals and toxins we're exposed to, and it's like a domino, one to the next, and it knocks everything over. So yes, you have to address it. I love your 5 points; they're phenomenal. Magnesium is definitely one of the next best things, but there's a lot of different magnesiums out there. You've got to really pick the best ones. I mean, not that they don't all work. To some extent they do, but the magnesium bisglycinate, I don't know if that's the one that you push, is probably the best one because it's bonded to the amino acid, which then it gets through the stomach, gets into the blood, gets treated as a food source because of the amino acid, and the body takes it in as a food and gets the utilization of it. So that with the sulfur is phenomenal.
The glycinate, glycine, right? It's bonded to the amino acid glycine, that one is way better absorbed because magnesium internally, or oral magnesium, it's very small percentage that actually gets assimilated by the body. And the bisglycinate, or the glycine, is a good form and it has better absorption. But we also push a topical because of the small percentage that only gets absorbed inside through oral supplementation. We find that using an oral supplementation along with a topical, like the Nutrition Detective Magnesium Lotion or the Ease Magnesium by Activation Products, and they're out of that specific, I think, comes out of Spain. Because a lot of magnesium products are actually a byproduct, and they're made in China, and so they're not readily absorbed by the body. And so getting a high quality magnesium really is foundational to your health, because you said it's one of the master minerals, and every known ailment, illness, and disease can be linked or associated with a magnesium deficiency. We have an article written by a doctor that goes over all of the deficiency symptoms related to magnesium, and it regulates over 380 different body functions. And anytime we're under stress, whether it's good stress or bad stress, chemical stress, physical stress, mental, emotional, you're utilizing magnesium. So therefore you want to replenish it. Well, even if your diet is stressful and you're consuming a bunch of sugar, again, it takes 57 molecules of magnesium to process 1 molecule of sugar. So if you're stressing the body with your diet, you're depleting yourself of magnesium as well.
Yeah, it's amazing. I had a family member that had that issue when they would go to bed at night and their leg would shake all night and they wouldn't sleep good. And I got them on magnesium years ago, and after like 2 days of being on that, it completely went away. And
that's amazing.
Hormone-related problems, especially as people get older, those are all problems. The magnesium helps to minimize a lot of those. Again, I'm a big mineral guy. You can't really function without the minerals.
Yeah.
I mean, how did God form Adam from the dust of the ground? So he started with the minerals, and then he breathed into him the breath of life. So you have the water, the minerals, all the nutrients from the ground, and then he gave us all the herbs. Then he gave you all the herb-bearing trees for your food. So all of those combined together is a huge blessing to anybody that wants to take care of their health. And you guys got one of the best line of herbal products under your store name. I've seen it. Anybody that's shopping, You want the best herbs in the world, go to Montana Harvest because they've got them for you. And there's a lot that work in conjunction with this, especially like when you talked about COVID. What I also had at the time, but I don't have it now, where I had a blend where you had colloidal silver and a mixture of MSM and some peppermint, and you'd spray it up your nose and breathe it in. I would use that all the time. I have to make it now because I can't get that brand anymore, but you could actually take silver. You could take water if you want, but the silver I think is even better. You could take a little bit of silver and take like a 2-ounce spray bottle and then mix some of the MSM in there with it. Shake it up, make sure it's all dissolved into the water. You can actually blow that stuff up your nose for allergies or getting on an airplane, cold and flu season, you name it. And that alone is another great addition to uses for the product.
Yeah, and we have these handouts in store. We've got 3 different articles, but this one's the 19 surprising benefits of organic sulfur. And from this sheet is why we started making in-house when Joe Gary started making the eye drops and nasal sprays, is because on number 19, organic sulfur can help alleviate eye problems. And it literally tells you how to make them. Dissolve 1 teaspoon of sulfur crystals in 4 ounces of water and use eye drops as frequently as you like.
Wow.
That's not, I mean, his is a little more concentrated and I can't give you the formula, but I mean, you could make your own. If you wanted to be self-sufficient, you can make your own nasal spray, you can make your own eye drops, you can make your own fertilizer with it and put it in water. I don't even measure. I just dump some into my watering can when I'm making it and make a concentrate, and then I water my plants with it. And I mean, I've been giving updates on social media on my garden, but I use sulfur as a fundamental mineral to nourish the plants.
I had another subject that I could talk about with you here.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that a lot of people are hearing about this issue with the ticks around the country. And I know sulfur is not a 100% guarantee, but I do have a customer that buys sulfur from me. And I'm trying to remember, I think he was in Kentucky, but it's been all over the country. But they had videos on social media where they were showing helicopters and stuff just dropping ticks out of the air. And you know, if you get bit by these ticks with some of the stuff they're doing, you won't ever be able to eat meat again, or at least any of the red meat, or I think you could still eat chicken. And they claim there's like over 500,000 Americans that have this issue. And the one guy that I was talking to, I said, "Do you see a lot of ticks where you're at?" He said, "Yes." He said, he said he actually knew some people that had that issue, that got bit, that can't eat the meat anymore. And he was a little bit nervous. He said, "But when I take the sulfur," he said, "I've noticed that these ticks don't come near me when I'm on the sulfur." Now, I can't make that as a claim, so don't misinterpret what I'm saying here on this show. But it's, again, another benefit that you could potentially consider. You'd have to actually try it out yourself and see, but I have heard that it can help minimize the exposure of ticks wanting to come on you and bite you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, speaking of skin conditions, that's another one, especially with teenagers, and they have, changes in hormones. Sulfur can help regulate some of those hormones and detox, and it can also help with acne. We've seen it. I mean, we've had people come in with cystic acne, severe acne breakouts, and they always want to know, what do you have in your store? Well, to me, the best thing you can do is detox the body. And sulfur is one of the best ways to detox. I mean, there's some people that can't handle the detoxing from the sulfur, especially if they were exposed to pesticides and chemicals and stuff that are deep inside their tissues, that, that they get sick off of it and they have to start really slow. But yeah, taking something internally, but you can also put the sulfur on topically, and it's great for the skin.
Amazing.
Yeah, so you can,
again, for the dogs, it's good for the all the pets too.
Yeah.
Like they even say that it helps give dogs a shinier coat, softer fur, healthy skin, reduced dry skin, which I told you I've already seen that with my dog. Better skin resilience, stronger hair growth because keratin contains sulfur. And the same thing, it works just as well for people like you're talking about.
Well, and there's all this scare on social media on parasites as well. And it says on here that um, organic sulfur can help reduce and often eliminate diverticulitis. And parasites living in the colon are unable to remain attached to the colon walls if organic sulfur is given because it creates a smooth lining in the intestinal tract.
Hmm. I'm not surprised, and that'd be a great product to take with some of the minerals that you carry there too. I don't know, do you sell clove or black walnut hull or parasite herbal products? I mean, those are phenomenal to take in addition to that with the sulfur. And and I've traveled overseas before. My family used to have property down in Central America. We used to go down there all the time. And if you're outside of the United States in any of these foreign third world countries, the one thing you'll find out is that almost anybody there takes parasite medicine at least twice a year because they believe their water has it or food has it. You come to the United States of America, you never hear anybody say, oh, you could have been exposed to a parasite. Was your water safe? Was your food safe? We don't do it here, but it's more important here than maybe anywhere. Look at the food that we're exposed to. Look at all the food that's coming in. We're the number one third world import of food to the United States of America. It comes from everywhere. We don't know where it's all coming from, how they're handling or what they're doing. It's crazy. And our water supply isn't perfect. I mean, it depends. There is better water in some areas of America than others. But in a lot of cases, like here in Florida, I know they got to put hundreds of chemicals in the water to purify the water. So that'd be a whole nother show, and I'm not the expert at it. I used to do a lot more many years ago, but water purification, putting good water purifiers on your house, drinking good pure water, having the right minerals, the right herbs, taking care of the parasites. There's tons of stuff out now with the parasites that you're starting to see, mainly to promote the medical stuff, but still they're claiming that fenbizidol and what's the other one there that they claim? Ivermectin, and there was one other one. I'm trying to think of the name of it.
Which can cause liver damage.
Yes, because they're still pharmaceutical.
Yeah.
They do work to some extent on some people. There have been dramatic instances where they have actually cured people of cancer issues, but you still are dealing with a drug that can have side effects on people versus other nutritional products that have little to no side effects.
Well, and then there's some instances where they say they're in remission, but then when they get off of them, it comes back. So I encourage people to really do their homework before getting on some of these pharmaceutical products that they're promoting for that, and know, the studies, who's funding the studies or behind it, because they'll do anything to sell products these days.
I know. It's gotten crazy.
But I want to announce that if you are interested in purchasing some of Greg Ciola's 7 Lights organic sulfur crystals, we do have the capsules as well. We do mail orders all the time. And in fact, we just had a mail order from a gal in California that found us on YouTube and placed an order from the store. So you're also supporting a local business. And you're supporting Greg Ciola if you purchase from us, because we carry his products, and we used to order over 100 canisters at a time. We've cut that down, but we order more frequently.
Yeah, more frequent.
Yeah,
you guys order a lot. You're my best store account that I have in the country, and I'd love to have another couple hundred or 1,000 stores like you guys that would push it to the way that you have. I mean, it would help so many people if we had millions and millions of people that were actually following this regimen.
Yeah.
I feel like we're just reaching a small audience, but I know we've made a huge difference, and I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for joining Let's Stay Healthy today. We're already out of time. Goes by so fast. So thanks for joining us, and we'll be back on next week.
Thank you so much. I appreciate being on the show with you, Kimmy. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Greg.
All right. Bye-bye.
You're listening to the Let's Stay Healthy radio show, sponsored and brought to you by Montana Harvest Natural Food Store in Billings, Montana.